great day to be a Seagull, especially if your name is Sully. Hey everyone, welcome to the ballpark. I'm Cale Clark, and this is your Medicine River Oil Recyclers pregame report. In case you missed it, the Sylvan Lake Gulls found a way to step back into the win column with a 5-3 victory over the Brooks Bombers last night. This afternoon, we'll wrap up the 4-game home-and-home games, and Sylvan Lake has a chance to split the series with a win here today, getting back to above 500 on the season. John Boy Rittenhouse helped lift this team in yesterday's effort, going 2 for 3 at the plate and drilling in 2 RBIs, with one of them being a blasted solo homer. The Gulls will turn to Bryson Leach on the mound, getting his second start of the summer. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the beautiful afternoon here at the ballpark and grab a drink and your seats, because first pitch is coming right up. Happy birthday, Sully.
Nation of Alberta, Region 3. These lands are traditional meeting grounds, gathering place.
Summer lingers. And on.
Happy birthday this afternoon.
Summer lingers. In the air. In the sound. Open skies. Worn boots. One more night before it's gone. Gulls summer send off.
The Gulls take game one.
And he's looking for the strikeout to put an exclamation point on this series, and he does.
And for the first time in franchise history, the Sylvan Lake Gulls head to the WCBL championship. There will be a new WCBL champion this season. That's got a chance.
Or a home
Where
run.
is it going?
Good
is it
night.
not enough? Yes, it does. Marcus Abelhosen with the walk-off homer.
The Sylvan Lake Gulls have got the dog off their back. They are headed to the WCBL championship final with an 8-4 win.
It truly is a great day to be a Seagull, especially if that Gull's name is Sully. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Sully's birthday party here at the ballpark. I'm Cale Clark, always so happy to have you tune in to Gulls baseball right here on FloCollege, brought to you by Visit Sylvan Lake. And I forgot my party hat, so I'm already a little bit behind here on this afternoon. But it is our first matinee matchup of the 2026 season at Gulls Field, and we will see the Brooks Bombers take on the Gulls for the fourth and final time in this series. Now, Sylvan Lake coming off a much-needed win last night here after dropping the first two down in Brooks, and then even though they pulled off that victory, it was still a very close and hard-fought battle that came right down to the final inning. And, you know, one thing I meant to mention yesterday is when I was talking to Matt Haight before yesterday's game, and I talked to him about, okay, well, what went wrong down in Brooks? He was mentioning that this record of this Bombers team really doesn't reflect on who they truly are, because really, they are a great ball club, and they have played the Sylvan Lake Gulls hard this year. I mean, every single game has come down right to that final inning. And again, that was what happened last night. The Lake boys obviously pulled off that 5-3 win. And of course, John Boy Rittenhouse was definitely a big part of that, going 2 for 2 at the plate. Actually, I should say 2 for 3 because we had a little bit of a glitch in the score bug. And then he drilled in 2 RBIs, with just one of them being an absolute blasted solo homer. So for the Sylvan Lake Gulls, I think the bats are going to need to continue, and the tighter defense will also need to be a factor if the Gulls want to split this series. You take a look at the standings, and the Lethbridge Bulls and Okotoks Dogs are slowly kind of running away in the West Division, kind of creeping away from the rest of the pack. I mean, Sylvan Lake now 500 on the season. They're 6-6, but they're chasing a 10-3 Okotoks Dogs and Lethbridge Bulls team. So a win here today would not only split the series against the Brooks Bombers, but it would also get them back to above 500 and kind of get them set for what's going to be a pretty busy week ahead against Fort McMurray, and then again a couple games against this Brooks Bombers team before the Lethbridge Bulls are in town next weekend. So it's a busy week here at Gulls Field, Pagala Park, Sylvan Lake, Alberta, and the boys are all wearing some birthday hats. Not all of them, but most of them are having some birthday hat fun, as it is Sully's 6th birthday here at the ballpark on this matinee afternoon, and it is going to be an absolute beauty of a day. The sun is out. It's a little cloudy right now. The sun went under a cloud, but it is a gorgeous afternoon, about 21 to 23 degrees Celsius, and everybody in attendance is definitely getting their money's worth soaking up the rays here tonight. Let's take a look at your starting pitcher for this afternoon, and it is going to be number 27, Bryson Leach, getting his second start as a Sylvan Lake Gull this summer. He's 1-1. He's got a 5.79 ERA, just over 9 innings pitched. He's given up 14 hits, walked 5 guys, but struck out 9 batters. So he is looking to continue to roll with this new club in Sylvan Lake. Here's who he is going to have to face with the Brooks Bombers, and stepping back into the lineup in a position is Zach Bretze. He came in a little bit throughout the game last night, but he'll be getting back in the lineup, as is Ben Simmons too, with a day off yesterday. And then Dalen Jeffcoats will be playing as the DH, the 1-2-3. Asahi Nakano still at first. Emerson Fleck, right field. Darius Couture is actually going to change places with Gage Perry and go in that shortstop position. Then Perry follows up over at third, Eric Mora, and then Daniel Jenkins at center field. For the Sylvan Lake Gulls in the defense, starting things off, Michael Quick steps into left field, Dom Giusti out at center, and then Charlie Collins in right field. Then you got John Boy Rittenhouse in the third base position, Tylen Graves, Maddox Shaver, Coleman Perry, and Reese Sherman back in the lineup behind the plate, catching balls and strikes from that man, the starter, Bryson Leach, looking to give the Sylvan Lake Gulls a much needed start here this afternoon. Again, this is to split the series if the Sylvan Lake Gulls can pull off a win and just kind of remain above 500, as it's kind of been a little bit of a maybe rocky, shaky start for Sylvan Lake this summer, but that's kind of been the motto for Sylvan Lake really in the last, couple of years. I mean, they haven't necessarily been off to the greatest starts, but once these players start to get to know each other, they start to gel more, then they start to play baseball. And you know what? We're already seeing some of that gel forming here early on in this season, especially with this infield. It almost seems like Sylvan Lake's got a strong infield yet again for another consecutive year. Leach starts off 0-1, now 0-2 on Zach Bretze, the left fielder for the Bombers. And as I mentioned, Bretze just came in late in the game. We just had one at-bat appearance, and he ended up striking out. Came in for Pinero later stages of that ball game, so he's going to get the start here tonight, or today, I should say. I'm going to probably say that a lot, just a heads up, folks at home. I apologize. Used to saying tonight, as this is our first matinee matchup in Sylvan Lake this season. This is popped all the way back, and it does land in foul territory, but Reese Sherman couldn't make a play on it. Might have lost that one in the sun. Let's take a look at the replay here. It looked like it was going to go out of play, and then it just must have kind of hung on and stayed inside the park. So a little bit of one that Reese Sherman probably could have back, but it's a 1-2 count to Bretze. No need to panic early on, that's for sure. Lots of baseball to be played. The Bombers have had some pretty good starts in their last 3 games. They started off with a run in the first inning yesterday. They had 4 runs in Brooks on Friday, and then they had 8 runs in the first on Thursday. So that has been the key to success for the Bombers in this series. But first batter goes down swinging as Bryson Leach comes in with a 90-mile-per-hour fastball up high. Has Bretze swinging right at it. So a great first at-bat, or first batter face for Bryson Leach. And that'll bring up Ben Simmons. Simmons playing as the catcher today, and again, he's coming off a night off yesterday. But so far in the other 2 games, he went 4 for 9. He had 2 RBIs and 3 runs scored for Brooks, down in Brooks. And Bryson Leach is wheeling and dealing to start this game 1-1 on Simmons. Now, I remember last year that all the players on the field to start Sully's birthday last year, had the hats on. This is well contacted in the left center field, but Dom Juicy's going to get there in time for out number 2. A great play there by Juicy. Some pretty solid contact by Ben Simmons, but he lifts it pretty shallow and easy for Juicy to run onto. But yeah, the guys aren't taking any chances today. I think this game's a little bit more important for them, wanting to make sure they get off to a great start, as Brooks has had a little bit of the edge in starts in the last 3 games. But in the warm-ups and a little bit of before the game, the pre-game ceremonies, some of the players were wearing their birthday hats. There's a check swing that goes all the way around. Another strike. 0-2 to Dalen Jeffcoats, who's also been a force in this series. 11 at-bats, 4 for 11, and he's had 7 RBIs in the last 3 games. And he goes around there as well, and it is another strikeout as the throw goes down to first in time. And it is a great start for Bryson Leach on Solly's birthday. 2 strikeouts, no hits, no runs, and that is the start you're looking for if you're Bryson Leach and the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Incredible.
Summer lingers in the air, in the sound, open skies, worn boots, one more night before it's gone. Gulls summer send off.
Well, that's the first time the Sylvan Lake Gulls haven't given up a run in the last 3 straight games. It's been working great defensively, but they're going to be running into this guy on the mound, Jack Swanberg, who's going to get his second start of the summer as well. He's got 5 innings of work, so he's given up 7 hits, 2 walks, and 8 strikeouts with a 7.2 ERA. So he'll be looking to keep the Gulls at bay with this batting order that's coming right up, and it's going to be Dom Juicy at center fielder, and then Malik Shaver kind of moves into that number 2 position, normally the number 3 guy, and then Joey Marino, who's going to fill in as a DH here tonight. Coleman Perry, Charlie Collins as well, and then of course, rounding out is Michael Quick. Let's take a look at the defense for Brooks. Ben Simmons behind the plate. Zach Bretz out in left. Daniel Jenkins and Emerson Fleck in the outfield. Gage Perry and Darius Sarkatura, as I mentioned, trading places from the shortstop to the third base. Eric Mora, Asai Nahano, and Ben Simmons, like I said, behind the plate. So there's your defense for the Brooks Bombers. Dom Juicy will try to get things going here for the Sylvan Lake crowd and give Sully a little bit of something to celebrate on his 6th birthday. Sully joined with a lot of his friends here this afternoon as well. Some other mascots in attendance. Barkley the Bulldog, Wooly Bully from the Red Deer Rebels, Barkley's from the Black Falls Bulldogs Junior A hockey team in the BCHL, and then you got Sparky, the Sylvan Lake Fire Department, and a couple others. Juicy fouls this one off. Clearly down on the count, 1-2. Also, can't forget about Trigger, the Bandit, for the Sylvan Lake Wranglers Junior B hockey team here in town. And Juicy goes around swinging on that, but it goes past the catcher, and it's going to be safe over at first. So gets a little bit of a break on that one as he goes around swinging. Knows he doesn't make close to the contact, but wheels down to first to be safe regardless.
Number 16, Maddox Shaver.
Maddox Shaver now steps into the batter's box. And he has been a force all summer long, leading this team with a batting average of 500. Had a little bit of a quieter night last night. I got talking to him, and it was kind of funny. I went down to the field afterwards, and he's like, yeah, it was kind of a little bit quieter tonight. And I'm like, yeah, but you still found a way to get on base. Still came around to score a run. But Maddox Shaver has gone 4 for 10 in this 4-game series. The last 3 games, 4 RBIs and 4 runs. So he's a hard guy to, keep cool for long. I mean, Brooks probably did their best job with him yesterday, only letting him go 1 for 4. Throw down to first. Dom Juicy just decides to lay down there for a couple more seconds. Gets back in lots of time. Shaver from Belleville, Ontario, and I talked to him too about playing against the Bombers because he played with this team the last 2 summers. He said it's definitely weird playing with against these guys, and the ball goes way past the first baseman's head in Nakano, and so that will get Dom Juicy all the way over to third. So Sylvan Lake taking advantage of some missed throws by the Brooks Bombers early in this ball game. First it goes past the catcher. This time it goes past Asahi Nakano, and it goes a long ways away. Dom Juicy turned the corner and went all the way to third. So now the Gulls are in scoring position with 0 away. And Maddox Shaver, a guy at the plate that knows how to drive in runs. Fouls that off. 1-2. 90 miles per hour fastball. Shaver leading this team with RBIs, 13 on the season. That goes up high in. And it's a strikeout to Maddox Shaver. A good pitch there, comes in with the off speed and has Shaver out in front of it. That was a great pitch by Jack Swanberg. Had some movement on it. That's a tough batter to sit down. So that'll bring up Joey Marino, the DH, after a night off yesterday. He comes back in and looks to pick up from where he left off. He's gone 4 for 8 in this series, 2 RBIs and 2 runs. And I had a great chat with Joey as well yesterday before the game started, and he was kind of giving me a little bit of some inside knowledge on some of the nicknames they've come up for some of the players already, like the Juice Man with Juicy over at third, and Noah Bourgeois as well, Bob, but that carried over from last year. They always called him Bob, and it is stuck here in Sylvan Lake. Even the new guys have already picked up on it. And Marino sends this high and deep left field. That has a charge in it. It's out of here. There's a start for your birthday, Sully. A 2-run shot from Joey Marino gets the Sylvan Lake Gulls on the board early, and here it comes with the celly. Wow. That was well hit, barreled up. He had to go pretty low for that ball in the zone, and he just cuts underneath of it. Does what he needs to do in his job in the DH position. So 1 away, Gulls up now 2-0. Happy birthday, Sully. There's an early birthday gift for you. Bring up Coleman Perry, first baseman. Watches that go by for a called strike. Perry 1 for 4 last night. You got Don Buscas, he's the crew chief over at first. That is Clayton Wandler on the screen, and then Marcel Rossetto is your third base umpire. Don Buscas being the crew chief here today. He was here yesterday, and him and Clayton Wandler just trade spots and trade places, and there's a strikeout on Coleman Perry for out number 2. The second strikeout for Jack Swanberg. And a good pitch there. Has him on the inside. So that'll bring up the Australian, Charlie Collins. And Collins went 1 for 4 last night, came around to score. And that kind of rings him up at side. It kind of froze him a little bit. And it comes inside. And Collins is like, I don't know about that one. He's kind of looking, thinking that might have been a little inside, but it's early. I mean, these guys are going to have to get used to what Don Buscas is going to be calling this afternoon. 0-2. And Collins fists this foul. Much better start for Sylvan Lake so far this afternoon, though, up by a pair. And defensively sitting down the Bombers. And this is hit hard, but a good snag out of midair. Eric Mora goes up for that one and comes away with it. So just the one hit in this inning for Sylvan Lake, but it was the big one, the one that mattered the most, and it was Joey Marino getting the Gulls on the board with 2-run shot over the left field wall.
For more than 40 years, we've been there, helping Canadians find the extra space they need to grow and to create new memories. Sentinel Storage. Buy Canadian, store Canadian.
For over a century, we've been more than just lawyers. We're your neighbors, your friends, and your strongest advocates. With 15 locations across the prairies, we're everywhere you are. Stringham, your local lawyers.
Have you ever wondered if there's one thing that connects people from across our province? Something that connects the coffee shop to the spray park, or the brewery to the rodeo, the campground to the sports field. It's pretty amazing when you think about how it's all connected, because it truly is, and it's all we think about, so you don't have to.
Bryson Leach back on the mound for his second inning of work, already to a great start, a 3-up, 3-down inning back in that first with 2 Ks credited in his name, and he's going to welcome up the 4, 5, 6 batters of the Bombers lineup. Asahi Nakano, Emerson Fleck, and Derry Steyer Couture are the scheduled batters to face Leach in his second start this summer. That one inside for a ball. So a wild first inning, kind of just chatting with my producer Calvin in the truck about talking about how Dom Giusti came around. Score on an error, basically. Well, it came to third on an error and then gets driven in by the home run. This one's popped right up to Maddox Shaver, who will settle underneath of it for the first out of the inning. And there's Dom Giusti right there, who had a little bit of adventurous base running in that first inning, but you know what? He did a good job. heads-up play. Took a swing at one that was quite a way outside, but luckily for him, it got past the catcher and went all the way back to the wall. Got him back on base, and this one is hit hard and high, but foul. Turned onto by Emerson Fleck all the way towards the kids zone. And in the kids zone, there's a lot of action going on. Bouncy castles going on in. Get a party for everybody in attendance, and that includes the kids. So we have a couple bouncy castles. That's one of them, and the other one more just inside the kids zone. So pretty cool. Kids having a blast. Parents having even probably more of a time, not having to worry about them. And they can just come to the game and have some drinks, visit some friends, know that their kids are going to be well taken care of. Great staff here at Gulls Field, watching all zones and taking care of all the fans. And that one beams Emerson Fleck for the first base runner the Bombers have had this afternoon. That one just getting away from Bryson Leach. Comes in, hits him right on the elbow. Looks like he'll be okay. So that'll bring up Derry Stark Couture, the shortstop, who was the third baseman last night, but him and Gage Perry switched places. Sylvan Lake wearing the baby blue uniforms this afternoon. I love it. And they're going to go down to first to check. Fleck over at first. Safe. Coleman Perry, I don't know if he was trying to stall a little bit with his glove, and he's got some glove issues over at first, but it looks like he's got her figured out. Just taking a look at it after making that catch. They're going to go down to first again. Looked like the glove handled it okay that time, as again Coleman Perry takes a look at it. I'm wondering if maybe his glove is starting to wear out on him. That's not good. He's had a lot of balls come his way in the last several games now. He's been very busy over at first. Of course, you're always a busy guy when you're playing in that position. 2-0 to Couture. And he hits this softly, shallow center field. Dom Juicy's got a run on it, and he won't get there in time, as it just falls harmlessly to the ground. So that'll be the first base hit for the Bombers. Just kind of got caught up and then dropped just before Juicy could get there. He tried, he had the speed, but 10 feet further to the outfield, Juicy. Who's gone 5 for 10. 5 RBIs in this 4-game series. 3 runs he's come around to score himself as well, so he's really picked up his game for the Brooks Bombers and leading by example. And this is hit hard to deep right field, all the way back, and it's caught! Charlie Collins is going to throw this in, and they're going to try to get the Bombers coming back, and they do! Oh, wow! Just in time, the double play. Well, well, well. It all starts out with an amazing catch in right field. I didn't think Collins was going to get there, and then that kind of, I don't think Brooks anticipated either, because all the runners were going. And Collins over the shoulder makes the catch, and then he's got to really rip this in there. And by that point, the first base runner was almost at third. And Perry stretches out in time for the double play. What a catch, what a play. Sylvan Lake coming to the bottom of the second.
The live sports experience is changing. Teams and facilities are under pressure to provide online and in-venue entertainment. IKS Live has the right team to deliver. We provide service across North America and produce the best fan experience, in the seats or streaming to you. IKS Live continues to bring you the best seat in the house.
Well, we talked about in the pregame show coming into this game, Sylvan Lake would have to get on the bats early and then defensively tighten up against the Brooks Bombers offense. And yeah, I think so far they have done that quite well. They have attacked all of those tasks perfectly so far. Just another incredible defensive play to lead things into the bottom of the second for the Sylvan Lake Gulls, up with a 2-0 lead. This will bring up John Boy Rittenhouse, who was definitely our EG Auctions player of the game last night, going 2 for 3 at the dish. Had the big homer and another RBI on the night. And he said it was feeling good yesterday. That solo homer, the barrel on the ball, he said, it felt good when I barreled that. And I said, I believe it. It left in a hurry. Knocking it right off the scoreboard out in left center field. And Rittenhouse now with 2 homers on the year, 12 RBIs. He's pushing Manic Shaver for that RBI leading tally. Four other games scheduled to play in the WCBL this afternoon, and Rittenhouse will lift that off. Only one game that was postponed was Energy City Cactus Rats. Were set to host the Lethbridge Bulls, but have not cleared their occupancy permits, so they had to postpone that game. And Rittenhouse lifts this high into foul territory. It is playable for Nakano, and he will get there to make the catch for out 1. Good job there by Asahi Nakano to make sure on that play and retire a very strong batter in the Sylvan Lake Gulls lineup. And this will bring up the shortstop, Tylen Graves. Graves 0 for 1 yesterday, but he did end up knocking in 2 runs. Sacrifice flyout, and then he also walked one in. The bases loaded situation. Graves fouls that off. Bartlett, Tennessee kid. Watches that bounce in front of him for another ball. He just gets out of the way. That's another ball. 3-1 to Graves. And we've seen Don Busquets call those strikes before, so I think even I saw Don kind of give Graves maybe a little bit of a heads up. That was closer than he thought. And that's counting as a strike, just painting the outside corner. Full count with 1 away. A hit each side for both these teams. Graves hits this well, right field. It is going back to the track, and it's going to be caught. Good job there by Emerson Fleck to track that one down, but that was riding out there for quite some time. Hit quite well. Emerson Fleck making a good catch there just before the track. So that'll bring up Reese Sherman, stepping back into this ball game after a night off yesterday. Giving Eli Duncan a night off today, being in that catcher position. And he's quickly down 0-2. So we saw some good pitching, you know, even yesterday from Brooks' starter yesterday. And, you know, they did a great job, I thought, to start that ball game. Cesar Morales came in and had 4 innings of work. Just gave up the 3 runs, had 5 strikeouts. And then Jack Swanberg comes in, and he had 3 strikeouts in that first inning. Almost had 4. Pops that one into the turf, evening the count 2-2 with 2 out. Brooks going to be back here again just in a few days' time. They'll be back later on this week. It'll be a Thursday-Friday game, but Thursday will be in Brooks. Friday will be here for Vintage Baseball Night. And then they got the makeup game from the rainout, and this is hit hard into right center field, going back to the wall, and it's going to take a 1-hopper for extra bases, landing in to keep this inning alive. Reese Sherman with a stand-up double. That was a hard hit ball, and Sylvan Lake is starting to feel it here this afternoon. The bats are rolling right now. So that'll bring up Michael Quick, the left fielder. On 1 to Quick. That's a called strike, now down 0-2. So Reese Sherman has been a pretty solid batter and catcher, of course, for the Sylvan Lake Gulls team. That's another double. He's had a few of those this season. And that one just catching the outside corner on Michael Quick for strike number 3, a strikeout to end the inning. That is the 4th strikeout for Jack Swanberg. And we'll be back with more baseball coming up.
40 years, we've been there, helping Canadians find the extra space they need to grow and to create new memories. Sentinel Storage. Buy Canadian, store Canadian.
For over a century, we've been more than just lawyers. We're your neighbors, your friends, and your strongest advocates. With 15 locations across the prairies, we're everywhere you are. Stringham, your local lawyers.
Yo, Dustin, you ain't going? Yes.
Can I join you guys? All right, let's go.
Whether it's on the ice or on our app, always play for the fun of the game. Gamble responsibly with Play Alberta.
Well, the ball's been hit to right field a couple times tonight, but that was quite the catch that we saw last time the Gulls took to the field in the second inning. Charlie Collins running all the way back, makes a catch over the shoulder, and then not only that, fires it in. And Brooks is in retreat mode right now, just trying to get back to tag up because they thought that was gone, and they made the double play over at first. That was just absolutely incredible. So a great play there by Charlie Collins, had everybody fooled, including the Brooks Bombers, thinking there's no way that's a catchable ball, and he made it look pretty darn easy, if you ask me. Right over the shoulder. It was absolutely incredible that he got there in time. So the Bombers have been kind of robbed from a pretty solid defense so far, the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Eric Mora will step up, number 8 batter, 8-9, and then top of the batting order. And he hits this deep into the hole. Tylen Graves will stop it, but that's all he can do. So it'll be a base hit to lead things off for Eric Mora. And perfectly positioned hit right here, deep in the hole. Good stop there by Graves to not let that go in the outfield, otherwise that would have been 2. So that'll bring up Daniel Jenkins. Mora was hitting .214, and that was his 4th hit of the summer. Jenkins so far just with the 2 hits this season in his 16 at-bat appearances. He's come around to score 4 times, gotten on base 6 times. His on-base percentage so far is .364. Now just missing down and away. 2-0 Sylvan Lake Gulls lead it here over the Brooks Bombers. Cale Clark here with you on the Gulls broadcast, brought to you by Visit Sylvan Lake. Great to have you watching in on your Sunday afternoon, wherever you may be tuning in from. I know everybody in attendance here today are having a good time for Sully's birthday party. He's a pretty popular bird. A lot of friends here. And that just missing. They are checking down to first to see if the peel over for a check swing, and it took a couple times. Finally, Don Busk is called down and said he did not go around. That's Clayton Wandler again over at first. An even count to Jenkins. And that's just missing high. So full count. Now, the nice thing about what Bryson Leach has done is when he is missing the strike zone for the most part, it's not missing by much. It's having the batters kind of really have to have a good take and good thinking process behind every pitch. And that one is a good foul off by Jenkins. Bryson Leach has a little bit of everything. He's got the fastballs working for him, the off-speed stuff, has a lot of movement. And he comes down low and has him swinging around, and they're saying he didn't swing around. I thought Don Buskus called him going around right there. Let's take a look at it here on the replay. They're going to say that he did not go around. Okay, wow. The replay might have showed differently. So anyway, Daniel Jenkins does get away with one there. As we watch the replay, that from my angle, I mean, again, we don't have the same advantage point that Clayton Wandler does, but just from that in front of the plate, looked like that bat did end up kind of going around. And then this ball will land into right field for a base hit to load the bases for the Bombers. So just like that, Brooks Bombers putting a little pressure on the Sylvan Lake Gulls here. Good base hit there by Bretza. And 0 outs in this inning. And I wouldn't really necessarily fault Bretz or the pitcher in Bryson Leach on this. Just an unfortunate break for Sylvan Lake. So Ben Simmons now at the dish. We'll test Leach and have a little bit of a hold to try to crawl out of here. 2-0 cushion. Brooks looking to get on the board. And back-to-back strikes. 82-mile-per-hour off speed with that one. Interested to see if he comes in with a fastball or if he goes back to the off speed again. And he comes right back with another off speed. 3 pitches, 3 strikes, and it's a strikeout to Simmons. And that one was sinking down low. Good pitch there by Leach. Has him chasing. So 3rd strikeout of the night for Leach. That'll bring up Dalen Jeffcoats, who also struck out his last at bat. And that just missing. So double play would be huge right now for Sylvan Lake, as it is in order. Now 1 away. Anything on the ground in this infield, they're more likely going to turn it. So after striking out Ben Simmons, Leach now down on the count 3-0. And looks like Jeffcoats looks down to the 3rd base coach, and not sure if he's getting the green light here or not. No, he's taken all the way. This is a grab. What a snatch by Coleman Perry. Are you kidding me? With the double play in his own glove. Retires the inning. You blink and you miss it. Coleman Perry with the hot glove over at first. Wow. Are you kidding me? The defense continues. Look at this. Boom. And then he just takes it himself and retires the inning. Sylvan Lake coming to bat at the bottom of the 3rd.
Hey baseball fans, make sure to stay up to date with your favorite teams across the league by subscribing to the WCBL YouTube channel right now. We have tons of free coverage for you over there, including daily highlights, full archived game broadcasts, daily game day previews, plus the WCBL report with myself and Joe McFarland every Wednesday. It's all in one spot, the WCBL YouTube channel. Subscribe today.
party of the season on August 22nd, Saturday. You can come and witness a concert like none other. They'll have the Tragically Hip cover band, the Hip Replacements, Power Up, which is AC/DC cover band, and then ABBA Revisited, also another cover band there. So it's going to be a great time. Beautiful weather they have had the last 2 seasons now. Josh Ross was the headliner last year, and this year they're bringing in some really talented bands and getting a little bit of everything with what's going to be played here at Gulls Field. So make sure you get your tickets online at sylvanlakegulls.com. You can purchase your tickets right there, and I know there is still some tickets left, so make sure you get on it before it's too late, because it's a party you really don't want to miss. I have been here the last 2 seasons, and it has been a solid time every single time. Juicy pops this straight up just in front of the plate, and the pitcher and Jack Swanberg will make the play on it for out number 1. And the nice thing about, the summer send-off, too, is they bring in food trucks. You can get some grub while you're here. There's always, so many things to do. They have cornhole toss in the outfield that you can play while you're, waiting for your band to come on. And, there's beer gardens everywhere. It's just, it's a really cool, fun place to be. So make sure you get your tickets online. You don't want to miss it. Maddox Shaver will hit this high and lift it right to the third baseman. And it's caught by Gage Perry. So quickly, just 2 outs, just like that, for the Brooks Bombers. And that'll bring up Joey Marino, and if you remember what Marino did last time, he drove in 2 runs with a big homer over the left field wall. He's the DH this afternoon. And he takes a hard cut at that one, wanting to maybe send another one over the fence. Bombers out hitting the Gulls just by 1 3-2, but Sylvan Lake getting out of a bases loaded jam with 0 outs somehow managed to keep the Bombers off the scoreboard. Again, incredible defense we have seen here, and it's early on. If you're just tuning in, you missed some great defensive plays already by the Sylvan Lake Gulls, and it's come from a couple guys. One of them being on deck right now should this inning stay alive. Coleman Perry hoping to get into this inning. Marino lifting this high, and it's tracking, and it's going into the park, and can't make the play on it was Asahi Nakano as he lost his glove. Just stayed inside the park, but went right into the Bombers' dugout. It's a hard play to make. He's already got one of those catches in foul territory. It's 1-2 to Marino from Surrey, British Columbia. Goes to Cloud County Community College. And he hits this pretty good, right center field, and it's dropped. It's going to go for extra bases. And Marino continues to have himself an afternoon. It's a tough play to make out at right center field. It was kind of trailing away from the center fielder in Daniel Jenkins, and he tried to slide down for it, and he just missed it. So that'll bring up Coleman Perry, who ended that last inning on his own with a quick glove, quick reflexes, and then touching his own bag for the double play. Absolutely phenomenal work we have seen from him over at first so far this afternoon. And that one just missing him on the inside. And here's the play again. Let's watch it. It's worth watching again, that's for sure. It was a hard hit ball, just an absolute line drive laser to Perry, and he makes no mistake grabbing it and then beating out the runner to the bag for the double play. And Perry hits this off the fist down the right field line. Will it stay fair? No. Just trails foul. Perry struck out at his last at bat. And that would have at least scored a run if that stayed fair. Now we get a mound visit here from the Bombers pitching coach, Steve Gomez. I'm sure that'll just kind of settle things down for the Bombers, just needing one more out to get out of this inning. Down a pair of runs. Well, the Sylvan Lake Gulls will be taking it from the ballpark to the golf course on Monday, July 20th. It is the annual Gulls Give Foundation Birdie Bash, brought to you by Parallax Energy. I don't know if there's any team spots open, so I'm not going to go out on a limb and say there are, but it's always a good time at the Birdie Bash just down the street at Alberta Springs Golf Resort down Highway 11 towards Red Deer, and a beautiful golf course, beautiful venue for a lot of golf tournaments throughout the summer, and I'm sure the boys will be there on display, maybe taking some swings with a golf club. And Perry hits this high into right field. It's tracking Emerson Fleck there to grab it and will make the catch to retire the inning. But not before Joey Marino does get on base due to a double, but it was not enough to come in to score. So the Sylvan Lake Gulls still remain in the lead 2-0 over the Bombers. Asahi Nakano will lead things off here in the fourth inning. Emerson Fleck on deck, and Derry Star Couture will be the scheduled batters to come for the Bombers to the plate. It is a 2-0 Gulls lead over the Brooks Bombers, and Nakano fouls this one off quickly down, or even I should say 1-1. Let's bring you up into the broadcast booth. The Gulls Nest. I have a special guest joining me here. Now, if you're familiar to Central Alberta or even on the radio, you would have heard this guy many, many times. He's a familiar face here in Central Alberta. Pleased to welcome Greg Shannon. And Greg, thanks for coming up tonight to chat with us. And there's a reason why you're here. You're here with the CASA Mental Health Association. So thanks for being here. I hope I didn't butcher that too badly, but
no, man,
welcome aboard. It's great to have a legend like yourself back on the air with us.
I appreciate that. That's not true, but I appreciate it. And I'm wearing my CASA shirt, my fancy CASA shirt, but I'm going old school with the Bellamy Brothers 50th anniversary hat that I scored at their show recently, and proud to represent country music and mental health.
That's great. Nakano lifts this into right field, and that's out number one. And you were busy before the game got underway. There was a little bit of a check presentation from my understanding that Gulls Give Foundation is a pretty good partner with CASA Mental Health.
They're an amazing partner, one of the best, and I mean it leads to interactions like this and more awareness for our organization, and been so philanthropic throughout the years to CASA, helping us build services and access to services for kids 3 to 18, which we call the missing middle. They're too complicated for primary care and those kind of networks, and we don't want to see them end up in a hospital, so CASA Care comes in the middle and wraps around these children. And without organizations like the Gulls Give Foundation, we wouldn't be moving as rapidly as we are with our capital expansion around the province.
So how did this, organization, I guess, come to be? How long has this organization, my apologies, been around? And maybe give us a little bit more background info.
Yeah, so it was started by families, for families in the late 1980s when services were really not a thing. And a couple of concerned parents got together. They had children having difficulty. And what they did was recruited a child psychiatrist. So a bit of a magic trick back then, and lots of stigma around mental health back in the 80s. And they wanted to change that. And the one thing that made it unique to other organizations is the CASA Care wraps around the whole family. So when you're going through a mental health crisis with a child or ongoing mental health difficulties, it ripples through the whole household. Brother, sister, mom, dad, the whole thing. So we put the treatment plan in place for the entire family.
Wow.
And the efficacy of that approach is really high. The stats are there. It does work.
So how did a radio guy like yourself become an advocate for these guys? I mean, you got a lot of radio background, and you've done a lot in the community, of course. But I guess for yourself, how did you get involved?
I got to tell you, I could not get out of bed any morning at 3 o'clock anymore. I did morning shows for the latter most of my career, the majority of my 30-year career. And I looked around and I thought, I had a great time when I was at Red Deer College at the time as a major gifts officer in the community relations department. And I like the work, so I don't have any other tangible skills. So I thought, okay, I'll look at this CASA. They have a 5-year operational roadmap. They're really making progress to reach more kids faster. And I go, I'll give it a shot. And of course, I had a great interview and whatever, because I'm awesome at interviews.
Because you can talk.
I didn't get the job. They said no, we went a different direction. But I kept on them, and about a year later, I officially joined the team, our philanthropy team at CASA Mental Health. And this is an organization that went from about 120 employees since 1989 to over 500 today.
Oh wow, that's a huge
yeah.
job.
There's a big job to do, and it takes a lot of expertise and people like me as well to get the job done.
Well, it wouldn't be possible without people like you. So thank you for what you do with this whole organization in Central Alberta. Clearly, there's a need for it. I mean, it's a big thing, and there's mental health in anyone. So it's it starts from a very young, early age. I guess where would you say that they maybe see mental health issues arise? Is it maybe in that 5-6-year-old gap, or is it younger, older?
Our area of expertise is 3 to 18. So we have the only preschool day program for this type of mental health in Canada. And we start getting there younger so that we can change the trajectory of the child's mental health, if at all possible. And the thing about our CASA Classrooms program, we have it throughout Central Alberta, including 3 CASA Classrooms operating now in Red Deer. And we see the child every day for a full semester. And then after that, we follow the child back to their host school with a therapy support navigator to make sure that the therapy is still in place if mom and dad need help. And it's just so that a 7-month journey to be able, and the efficacy for that, it really works because you're seeing the child every day. You can control medications, you can control behavior, and not control it, but I mean take a real hard look at it and compare notes with your fellow practitioners. And we have psychiatrists, mental health therapists, teachers in the public and Catholic school system. It takes a big team to really do this work.
Well, it's already 3 outs just like that as we get talking. We'll be back with Greg here in the bottom half of the 4th inning when we come back. Jack Swanberg still on the mound for the Brooks Bombers here in the bottom of the 4th inning. It is still a 2-0 lead for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Again, defensively just been perfect to start this ball game this afternoon, and a little sun has kind of gone away on us a little bit. The cloud cover coming in, so it's maybe helping the fans in the crowd kind of cool down and whatnot. But Sylvan Lake Gulls will send Charlie Collins to play John Boy Rittenhouse and then Tylen Graves. And it looks like Collins will lift this into the gap of left center field, and that will land in for a base hit. Again, it's Cale Clark here with you on the Gulls broadcast on FloCollege, brought to you by Visit Sylvan Lake. As Collins, again, we get a good look at that, and just getting away from Dairy Start Couture. Can't quite come up with that one. And again, joining me in the broadcast booth is radio broadcaster legend himself, Greg Shannon, with the Casa Mental Health team, talking to us about them today. And you guys are also doing the 50-50s, helping out with the 50-50s and the Gulls Give Foundation.
Yeah, my old colleague Kevin Watson is one of the volunteers selling 50-50s.
Yeah.
I was going to say he's between opportunities, but somehow he managed to get another job.
He did. Yep.
I don't know how that worked out, but he's doing great. And Victoria Furman is our official Casa volunteers here, and my colleague Aaron from Calgary does the same work I do here in the Edmonton area and stuff. So she's manning the table right now while I babble on this broadcast.
Well, you get to take a little break
yeah.
and come up here and watch some baseball. John Boy Rittenhouse at the plate, quickly down 0-2 here with Collins over at first. And again, Greg Shannon here with the Casa Mental Health team. And Kevin Watson, a colleague of mine as well, former colleague. I had the pleasure to work with him over at Big 105, 106.7. which is now Rewind Radio, was the drive, and he was also with the Red Deer Rebels in the WHL, being the PA announcer. I was fortunate to be on the broadcast in the 2019-20 season with him, of course, Cam Moon, Mike Moeller, and yeah, I mean, it's a small world when you get in the broadcasting industry. You meet a lot of people. As Rittenhouse will lift this into center field, settling underneath of it, will be caught by Daniel Jenkins for out number 1 of this innings. So Gulls still up 2-0. But Greg, yeah, again, maybe now I see there's like a Smiles Through Lindsay, initiative as well with this Casa Mental Health component. Maybe you can talk about that a little bit.
100%, yeah.
Being on the spot.
Being at Casa Mental Health allowed me to reconnect with a lot of people in Central Alberta since I, moved to Edmonton, and Rick Moore was one of those people, and I got to hear the Rick and Cindy family story close up and personal, and they came to our gala in 2024 and made a very generous donation at our gala. And then, we've just been talking over the years, and I took them on a tour with my colleague Lori Rowe, who's the head of the Casa Classrooms program. And we went to the Casa Classroom located at the Outreach School here in Red Deer. And they were so impressed with how it all works and how it's helping the children immediately, impactfully, right in the community.
Base hit, yeah, for Tylen Graves there. I don't want to cut you off. I'm enjoying the story, but yeah, Graves there with a nice base hit to left field that lands in. That will drive Charlie Collins now to third as he turns onto that and gets some good wood on the ball.
Yeah, so Rick and Cindy took the tour and saw our staff and how they operate on a day-to-day basis in the environment of a Casa classroom, and they made a significant contribution to the work that Casa is doing to help us expand and grow these programs to the tune of $25,000 over 5 years. So wow. We couldn't be more grateful. I got a chance to meet Rick's oldest daughter, Stephanie Fernandez, who was here over on the patio there with her brother, James, and the kids who couldn't be cuter. Got some photo ops there on the mound, and it's just been a great day.
I love it. And so for the Casa Mental Health, is it they accept donations from anybody?
yes, we
I'm
do.
Assuming?
We'll take credit card, Diners Club, a roll of quarters, whatever you have.
Whatever you got.
And we have lots of information at the booth at the shack there today. And any inquiries you want to make, everybody really, it's easy to get a hold of people on LinkedIn, and it's casamentalhealth.org is our website.
Awesome.
A lot of fantastic information on there. And if I could for a second,
Reed Sherman lifts this into left field, and that will score in another run for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. So an RBI single for Reed Sherman, and this inning keeps on going with just one out. Yeah, good ball game so far in front of us as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly mention our capital expansion.
Yeah, absolutely. Please do.
It took a lot of incredible people and community builders to create what we have here, which is, the most talked about park anywhere. It's unbelievable. I love it. And we are doing a capital expansion, building CASA houses in Fort McMurray, Calgary, Medicine Hat, and Edmonton.
Oh, wow.
And our Fort McMurray and Calgary builds are already underway. We had sod turning ceremonies 2 weeks ago, and we've experienced significant donations from Suncor, CNRL, the Boucher family, and it's just going so well. And these are our highest level of acuity happens at a CASA house. People who really need intensive help with mental health in that 14 to 18 range.
Oh, wow.
Can go to a CASA house, and we also have our adolescent day programs there. And it's a game changer. The community of Fort McMurray is just incredibly joyous about the fact that CASA is coming there, and we already have a CASA classroom in operation in Fort McMurray doing some great work. And we're just very excited. There's a lot of momentum, and we couldn't be more grateful.
Well, I love that. It's province-wide. It's league-wide. So, I mean, there's, for all those people watching at home right now on FloCollege, they can make that donation. And they can make them online, donations to the CASA Mental Health, and that's on the website there that you just mentioned?
CASAmentalhealth.org,
okay.
And there's a place called Give Help, Get Help. So if you have a child or know somebody that needs help, you can even refer through the website. And there's plenty of donation information on there about all the work we're doing.
Great stuff. Well, thanks, Greg. That's awesome. And again, thanks for everything that you do and how you're an advocate for such a great cause that is clearly needed all around Alberta.
100%.
Canada.
Great interview. I appreciate your time today. That was awesome.
No, of course. Michael Quick hits this pretty high, but I think it's going to stay in the park. It's going to get to the right fielder, Emerson Fleck, who will settle underneath of it and have an absolute arm into Derry Star Couture to keep the runners at bay. So that now makes it 2 away. Michael Quick goes down. And that'll come back to the top of the batting order. Dom Juicy steps into the batter's box. Let's talk a little bit about what we have one more out, and then we'll let you get back to this game and helping out down on the concourse. But I heard there was you and Kevin Watson were roommates back in the good old days.
Yeah.
When I think it was in PA that you guys were roommates.
Well, in my first gig and his first gig too in St. Paul, we were there. St. Paul, okay. Where the radio station was housed in an old house. And it was kind of a grimy old house, but not as grimy as Kevin Watson's apartment. And he used to have to shower with his flip-flops on until he joined me, and we had a little cleaner operation in an official apartment building. But yeah, we've known each other for a long time, and Kevin actually stood up for me at my wedding.
Yeah, okay.
I emceed his wedding. There are stories that we can't tell on this broadcast. But Kevin, I can tell you, he's one of the most stand-up guys I've ever met in my life, and we're still best buddies to this day. And to have him come out here, as soon as I ask the question, hey, can you join us on Sunday and sell some 50-50s? There's no hesitation with Kevin.
He's a great guy. No, absolutely. There's always lots of stories with Watson and any radio guy, really. There's always some good stories to be had. Unfortunately, some that can't be talked about on air, but this one comes in.
Whoa, that's my truck.
There's, someone's vehicle's
break
getting
glass
dinged.
sound effect.
Yeah, exactly. Someone's getting dinged with the ball there. We've seen a couple of those, even in the, I'm very careful. I park just to the left side.
You're
there,
a veteran.
Out in the back. I know where
You're
I'm
not
parking.
playing.
Yeah, I'm not playing that game. Unless I need a new windshield, then maybe I'll strategically try to park it close. But
I definitely need a new windshield. So
yeah, there you go. Dom Juicy down the count 1-2. Gulls up 3-0, and Juicy fighting some pitches off here.
Come on.
Yeah, is that exactly where you're parked over there too? Oh, great. Well, hopefully
it's a red Ram. So
well, let's hope that your red Ram is not dented right now, or has glass intact.
Can I get a free beer if that happens? Like, how does that work?
I don't know. Yeah. I do know that all foul balls are brought to you by Clearview Glass. So
perfect.
There's a good sponsorship if I've ever seen one.
That is,
That's prime time. Juicy found that back off to the screen.
I would have ate that one if there was no net.
I know. I wish I had a glove and there was no net.
That'd be super fun.
You know how many balls I'd come?
Yeah, it'd be
come out with?
Super cool.
Talk about multitasking while broadcast. I don't know if I'm very good at that. So 1-2 to Juicy. 2 away. The Gulls up 3-0. Great day for a ball game, though. Hey, Greg?
I love it. Even the cloud cover is perfect because it cooled it down a bunch.
It did, yeah.
Yeah,
it kind of gives everybody a little bit of a break from sweating.
Marissa guaranteed me good weather. So.
Yeah, Marissa Stryker. What a terrific thing she does here at the Gulls field, and a lot of the behind-the-scenes work that she does and how she's involved with getting people like you set up to come and really show what your organization's all about with CASA.
She meets a challenge every time she works with me because I'm the most unorganized guy on the planet. I am a former radio DJ, let's just put it out there.
Yeah.
And there's been an email chain of about 60 between her, me, and Marnie to get this all done, and really appreciate the work she does.
Yeah, she keeps everybody kind of organized. The mascots even are all organized because of her. She's just a Swiss Army knife, really.
And I don't think she even drinks.
No.
Like, I don't know how she does it.
No, I don't. Yeah, exactly. Well, Dom Juicy goes down swinging. That will bring this inning to a close, but not before the Gulls do add another run in this game. Now up 3-0. We want to thank Greg Shannon from CASA Mental Health being here today and join us on the broadcast. Thanks,
Appreciate
buddy.
it very much.
Yes, you're most welcome. That will do it. We'll be back with the 5th inning next here on Gulls Baseball on FloCollege. Back here in the top of the 5th inning, we again want to thank Greg Shannon for joining us from CASA Mental Health to share what they're about, what they do here in Alberta, not just Central Alberta, but clearly across the province. It is so great to see them be here today to, highlight what they're all about and to really showcase the need here in Alberta for what they do. So helping kids under 18 with mental health issues. And it's so good to get somebody in the broadcast booth and a legend like him. This is grounded out to Tylen Graves, who makes the throw look easy in time for out number 1. That will sit down Eric Mora. So this will bring up Daniel Jenkins, who swings and cuts at that one. 0-1. A good start, though, for Bryson Leach so far in this game. If he's not doing the strikeouts himself, he's getting a lot of help from the fielders behind him. It has been a all-around defensive effort from everybody on the field. Daniel Jenkins got on base with a walk back in the 3rd inning. He's down 1-2 now. And there's some warm-ups going on in the Bombers bullpen right now, so we might be seeing a new pitcher coming in to start the bottom half of this inning. As the Gulls up in the hit 6-3 over Brooks, up 3-0. Just the one error in this game goes into Brooks. And that was back in the 1st inning. So So full count to Jenkins. And it's a walk. So a good take there by Jenkins. Has now reached on base twice for a walk. And that'll bring up back to the top of the batting order Zach Bretza, who's 1 for 2 on the afternoon. And Bretza hits this right off the fist, and it's going to try to be a double play. Rittenhouse and Perry, and they got him! Wow! The longest double play you can pretty much have was made look easy. Here, right off the fist, going right down the line. Good job by Rittenhouse to field the ball. Shaver with the dart to Perry in time. And that retires the inning. A 3-up, 3-down inning for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Still up 3-0 heading into the bottom of this inning. But, I mean, it has been a party here in Sylvan Lake, and there's a reason. Sylvan Lake Gulls' own mascot, Sully the Gully, celebrating his 6th birthday tonight. We're going to hand things down to field level.
Also, a 29th anniversary party on Sully's birthday. Rick and Dina Carbert are celebrating at the ballpark. Happy 29th from all of us at the Gulls. And speaking of birthdays, Mark McNaughton is celebrating his 55th birthday with all of us and with Sully today. Speaking of birthday parties, I see a whole lot of friends on both dugouts. Let's go down to Jared Waldo.
Thank you very much, Joe. Yes, as you know, it is Sully's 6th birthday, and it is time to celebrate as we do here at the ballpark. All of my mascot friends, are you ready to celebrate Sully? Are you ready to celebrate Sully this afternoon? All right, mascots at the ready. In 3, 2, 1. Happy birthday, Sully! Need a little help. Wow. Oh no. Come on, careful where you're aiming that. Here, let me try it. Don't you dare. You hold it.
Happy birthday, happy birthday, happy birthday to you. Load it up when the sun comes down. Getaway car for 2 young lovers. Me and the girl straight out of town.
Hey, Jared, that was fantastic. You did.
Well, they're going with the local kid on the mound for the Brooks Bombers. This is a kid from Brooks himself, number 23, Aiden Maxwell, into the game, the right-handed pitcher going to the Okanagan College. So a new pitcher on the mound. The first pitching change of the afternoon will go to Brooks, and he will be facing back to the second batter, Maddox Shaver. Maddox Shaver 0 for 2 on the afternoon. And a lot of a different pace of pitching coming from this new guy in Aiden Maxwell. Off speed is really slow coming in compared to the other ones. 64 miles per hour. And Maddox Shaver lifts this right to center field where it goes to die in the glove of Daniel Jenkins for out number 1. So a little bit of a change of pace, and everybody out having a good time at the ballpark. You see all the great decorations, and again, those decorations, we were talking about Marissa Stryker with behind the scenes of, getting organizations set up, the nonprofits, and then the mascots and everything like that, and then she's also helping set up the ballpark to look like a birthday party, and she is probably one of the main reasons why it looks so decorated out there. So again, Marissa Stryker, big kudos to you for all the hard work you do for the Sylvan Lake Gulls on any given night. She keeps me in check sometimes, gets me guests in the broadcast booth, and she just kind of really is the gel that brings everybody together here at Gulls Field. Joey Marino takes a swing and a miss at that one, 1-2. And yeah, they're not used to these pitches coming in as slow as they have been, even though they're slow pitches is my hardest throw I can ever do. But it's some good off-speed stuff from Maxwell. Coleman Perry on deck. And a swing and a miss as Maxwell has Marino going around. So his stuff is working right now. It's fooling the Gulls batters. So that'll bring up Coleman Perry. That's where you have to have some patience when you got a guy like this can throw some spin on the ball and it comes in a little bit slower than usual. And Perry hits this right to the shortstop, getting by him of Star Couture into the left field. So that one, yeah, and again, that could be just from that spin off the ball on the throw and delivery by Maxwell. He's got a lot of spin on it, and you take a look at it, and as this hits the turf, well, it looked like it bounced pretty straight on to Star Couture, maybe just a misread on the shortstop, and they're going to give that an error to Derry Star Couture. So Coleman Perry reaching on base to an error, and that will bring up Charlie Collins. Looking to keep this inning alive. That ball missing. I thought maybe that ball could have taken a little bit of a hop off the turf and had a little bit of spin on it. And it might have still had a little bit of spin on it, but just an unfortunate error to Derry Star Couture. Now this is grounded to the third baseman, and they'll make the throw past the first baseman. So Coleman Perry gets to third, and he's going to get the stop sign as Charlie Collins gets over to second. Gage Perry fields this ball, and then he throws it off the line. That goes past Asahi Nakano, and Brooks have been having a few little bit of issues with fielding balls and their throwing. And that's going to be another error, this time to the third baseman. And those two ended up swapping places going into today's game. So two runners now, all just like that, are in scoring position after the first two batters faced in this inning were retired quite quickly. John Boy Rittenhouse at the plate, and he hits this hard to center field, but that will be caught by Daniel Jenkins to retire the inning. So the Bombers, after a couple infield errors, get away with it and remain just down 3 heading into the top of the 6th when we come back. Well, they're extending Bryson Leach into the 6th inning here, the starter for your Sylvan Lake Gulls, and he's been doing a pretty good job, so why not? 66 pitches is what he's at right now coming into this inning, and has given up no runs on 3 hits. So they're getting some really good work here from their starter, and that, kind of sets you up for the week as well. If you could get 6 solid innings from your starting pitcher, I mean, then that kind of saves some arms as the week rolls on here. And he's going to face Ben Simmons to lead things off. And it's just like I said, overall, it has been a solid defensive game for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. And offensively, they've been getting some pretty good hits too out of things. This ball is fouled just by the kid zone. Simmons struck out back in the 3rd inning, flew out to center in the 1st, so he's 0 for 2 on the night, or the day. I keep saying night. I told you I was going to say it. I've probably been saying it all day. Even count, and it is a swing and a miss, dropped strike, but the throw from Sherman in time. So strikeout yet again for Bryson Leach. Strikeout number 5. Great day of work he's had. Let's bring up Dalen Jeffcoats. And Jeffcoats hits this right up the middle. Tylen Grays will field it, and he just lost the handle on it. That's a tough one. We saw a very similar play like that yesterday that started the game for Sylvan Lake, where Graves just had it hop away from him. He had to field that kind of awkwardly, and again, just that little flip to the hand. Had to be quick with it because he had to run onto that ball quite a ways, and with a quick runner like Dalen Jeffcoats, it's a quick transition. You don't have a lot of time to try to get a grip on that ball. So I'm not sure if currently they don't have an error up on the board for Sylvan Lake. They're going to maybe count this as a base hit. And they are going to count it as a base hit to Dalen Jeffcoats. So that'll bring up Asahi Nakano. A good pitch there. Off speed, that wasn't even close. Nakano 0 for 2. Flew out to Charlie Collins in the right field and popped it up to Maddox Shaver back in the 2nd inning. And he hits this high fly ball to center field. That'll be caught by Giusti. Good play there by Dom Giusti. He's had a few of those grabs out in center field today. I think I just need to accept that I'm going to say tonight, maybe. Sorry, folks, back home. It is afternoon here in Sylvan Lake. It is 3:30 local time. And Emerson Fleck grounds this to Maddox Shaver, who will field it, make the throw in time for out number 3. So, again, no runs scored. Great innings of work by Bryson Leach. Just giving up one more hit. 4 hits on the day, but no runs. And we'll see if he comes back out for the 7th when we come back. Snapman just toying with the runner in between innings in the break there, and then he's like, oh, I got to get on my horse and beat out the race, and I don't know, that was close. I think that was probably a lot closer than Snapman wanted it, but another new pitcher on the mound for the Brooks Bombers as Aiden Maxwell just had the one inning of work and just kind of a quick inning of work at that, so they're going to bring in Tyler Morales now in for the 6th inning. And Tyler Morales is from Colorado Springs, goes to Willingston State College. This is Morales. He's had 2 starts on the year, but I'm thinking this is his 3rd game appearance this summer. He's had 8 innings of work. Probably trying to look to bring his ERA down a little bit, but he's got 9 strikeouts on the season. And he's greeted with a first pitch swinging from Tylen Graves that'll land in for a base hit. It's back-to-back base hits for Tylen Graves as well. So the Gulls keep the offense rolling. And that'll bring up Reese Sherman, who is 2 for 2 on the afternoon. He's had a double and an RBI single.
Here's the catcher.
So Tylen Graves getting his gloves on, or putting his gloves away, I should say. And Reese Sherman looking to knock him close to home. And he also takes first pitch swinging, knocking it back. But Aiden Maxwell had a pretty good, inning of work. He had only faced 5 batters, 1 strikeout, and 2 of those batters got on base to an error. So he didn't give up any hits. Reese Sherman down in the count, 0-2. Bryson Leach, after solid 6 innings of performance, he looks like his night will be over. As I watched him walk off the field and got the handshake from head coach Matt Hayton. Usually that means your night is done as a pitcher. So an outstanding night of work by him to start off for the Sylvan Lake Gulls to try to split this series with the Bombers, and Sherman goes down swinging. Strikeout. Good pitch there by Tyler Morales. Let's take a look at it again here as Morales just releases this pitch, and yeah, that's some movement going away from the batter. That's a great pitch. So that'll bring up Michael Quick, the left fielder today. He's 0 for 2 on the afternoon. And their throw down to second, and he's out. As Tylen Graves overslid the bag when he went to steal, and he got tagged out by a nice throw from the catcher, the pickoff from Ben Simmons. Let's take a look at it again. He gets a really good start, good lead off, and he slides down, but he overslid the bag. Forgot to hang on. So a good throw by Simmons to pick off the runner. Michael Quick now no base runners on, looking to keep this inning alive. 2-1 the count. And Quick hits this hard, going back center field all the way to the track, and it's caught by Daniel Jenkins on a pretty well-struck ball by Michael Quick. But the Brooks Bombers end up turning it into a 3-up, 3-down inning, and will hit the bats the top of the 7th when we come back. Well, it was a great night and a great start for the Sylvan Lake Gulls pitcher on the mound, Bryson Leach. 5 Ks in 6 innings of work, just giving up the 4 hits and 0 runs. And it was exactly what the Sylvan Lake Gulls needed this afternoon for Sully's birthday, as he gets a lot of high fives, handshakes, hugs, and of course the handshake from head coach Matt Hay on a perfect performance really from him on the mound, and some great help from the defense. But that will bring in a new pitcher now for Sylvan Lake, their first pitching change of the afternoon, and that's Seth Muller, the right-hander from Lake Stevens, Washington, going to Whitworth University. So Seth Muller coming to pick up from and kind of carry on what Bryson Leach started this afternoon. This is kind of one of those games where you knew Sylvan Lake needed a game like this, especially just from the pitching side of things. You know, the pitchers have had a little bit of some tough goes in the last couple of weeks to start the season, and this is a huge confidence building game for the pitching staff of this Gulls team. So Seth Muller will face Derry Star Couture to start things off here in the 7th inning. And he comes in with a strike, an off speed. Seven hits for the Gulls so far, and 4 for the Bombers. Just the 3 errors to the Bombers in this game. They've had a little bit of a tough go with the infield and fielding out some balls, but Sylvan Lake also had that yesterday. Found a way to calm down, relax, get back into it. Derry Star Couture 1 for 2 on the afternoon. And he struck out in the 4th, base hit in the 2nd. Count now even. And, you know, going back to Bryson Leach, you know, what he did here this afternoon, only walking 2 batters. He did hit a batsman, so technically 3 got on, but, you know, walking 3, that is it. And then 5 Ks. And no runs. And there was a bases loaded situation at one point, and they got out of it with a big double play. And there's a strikeout there with his first batter he sees. Good job there by Seth Muller. Sits down Derry Star Couture. So he rides the momentum that the pitching staff has here today. Gage Perry 0 for 2 on the afternoon. Sun's trying to come back out here at Gulls Field. The clouds are just almost, there's a little bit of overcast haze that has flown over, and this is hit hard, but that's going to be foul. As Gage Perry got a lot of that with the bat, but just a little bit too much to the right. Flies over the bullpen, and he shakes his head in a little bit of disgust, wanting that one back. Just needed to turn on that a little earlier, and that would have maybe cleared the fence. Like I mentioned, this haze is almost past us, and then there's some blue skies to the west that maybe the sun could peek out before the end of this ball game for the fans in attendance. 1-2. And Perry lightly swings on this one, making soft contact, goes right back to Muller, who makes the throw over in time to Perry for out number 2. So first 2 batters Muller sees, and he takes care of both of them in different ways. As he fields that himself, great play. It was a good pitch. I mean, he had Gage Perry way out on the top of it. Makes soft contact with the end of the bat. So that'll bring up Eric Mora, the 1 for 2 on the afternoon. Grounded out to Tylen Graves back in his last at bat in the 5th inning. Seth Mahler's in a groove right now, not wasting any time. Finding the strike zone. And that one with some off speed and some movement comes in. Catch in the corner as well. 0-2. And this ball hit pretty good into left field. Making the diving catch is Michael Quick. He said, okay, fellas, I've seen your place. It's my turn to get in on the action with the highlight reel catch. And just like that, a 3-up, 3-down. He kind of fell before he got to it, but he recovers well and gets his glove on it, making the catch. Sylvan Lake, 3-up, 3-down inning. They'll come to the bats. It's a 7th inning stretch. You're watching Gulls baseball on FloCollege. Well, the pitching door is open in the bullpen for the Brooks Bombers. It's kind of turning into a little bit of a revolving door. Maybe pitchers getting an inning of work now, as they've now went to 3 straight pitchers with 1 inning of work so far. This is Polo Martel, number 28 from Ancesco, Puerto Rico. He goes to El Paso Community College, and he'll face the top of the batting order, Dom Giusti, Maddox Shaver, and Joey Marino. 1, 2, 3 batters. The Gulls still up with a 3-0 lead over the Bombers. And that one goes over the head of Giusti. Has to take a little bit of a duck on that one for ball 1. Aiden Maxwell came in for the Bombers in the 5th inning. Tyler Morales comes in the 6th inning, does a pretty good job. And then now Paulo Martel here in the 7th inning. This ball hit hard but foul down the 3rd baseline. And looking towards the Bombers bullpen, more action happening. As I wouldn't be surprised, maybe they'll just do a pitcher an inning right till the end of this game, stretch out some arms. Stretch out this pitching staff on the Bombers, and Giusti cuts underneath of this one. It's climbing back left field, and it's caught by Zach Bretza. Originally, he wasn't moving on the play. He thought the ball was going to come right to him, and then he realized that ball started carrying, and he had to quickly turn around and hustle back. You see him facing forwards, and then he's like, oh, wait, no, this is carrying a lot further than I thought it was going to, and he gets back in time to recover well to make the catch just basically before the warning track. Might be a little bit of wind up there too, helping push that ball to the left field. Bring up Maddox Shaver, 0 for 3, uncharacteristically quiet today and even a little bit yesterday, but today still without a base hit. And that hasn't happened to him in a long, long time. In fact, I'd have to go back quite a ways until I find a game that Maddox Shaver didn't at least get a base hit in a ball game. Quickly up in the count here, 2-0. Paulo Martel. And that hits Maddox Shaver. He let it hit him, and that one stings. Shaking the arm off there, and you don't want to see him with an injury, especially a hot player like him. You can't afford to lose a guy like that in your lineup, but that hit the elbow pad, and maybe it didn't hit the elbow pad square on like it should have to avoid more of that little bit of a sting, but clearly he's still feeling the effects of it. So he gets on base for the first time, the hardest way, the more hurtful way. And that'll bring up Joey Marino, the DH, who's had a pretty solid day at the plate being the DH. 2 for 3, a double and a 2-run shot over the left field wall. Struck out in his last at bat in the 5th. Marino, watch that go in for a strike. 0-2 to the Surrey, British Columbia native. And Marino hits this on the ground to Couture, flips it to second. They try to turn the double play, and they do. So that will end the inning, as you get the 6-4-3 play to finish things off. And the Brooks Bombers, 2 innings left to try to tackle this lead that the Gulls have, being up 3. They'll come to the bats next. Seth Mahler back on the mound for his 2nd inning of work since coming in for the starter and Bryson Leach. And Sylvan Lake looking to maybe save some arms today and get set for a pretty busy week ahead here at Gulls Field, as they'll get set for a pair of games, an off day tomorrow, which is nice, and then they'll get set for a pair of games against the Fort McMurray Giants on Tuesday and Wednesday. They'll head to Brooks on Thursday before returning home to take on Brooks again on the Friday, and then of course the Lethbridge Bulls next weekend, which will be a tough opponent to take on, who's currently leading the West Division, tied with Okotoks with a 10-3 record. Obviously they had their game postponed today, and Okotoks with an off day today, so both the top teams in the West not playing this afternoon. So that'll allow Sylvan Lake to inch a little closer to the top 2 teams in the league, in the standings. Daniel Jenkins has reached on base both times to a walk. It's down on the count here, 1-2 to Mahler. Mahler Mahler just missing outside of that pitch. Even in the count. Fans entertained here at Gulls Field, and I had the privilege, there's the word I'm looking for, to drop a few baseballs out of my window, giving some lucky fans some souvenirs to go home with as this is lifted into right field, and only taking a couple steps back was Charlie Collins to make the catch. That one being the easiest catch he's had to probably make today. Getting the hard one out of the way earlier on in this game that he caught over the shoulder, then ripping it in to turn into a double play. Catching the Bombers, thinking that was going to land for a base hit, trying to score some runs, and turn into no runs scored at all. So Zach Bretza back to the top of the batting order for him, and he hits this off the fist right down to Rittenhouse, who makes the throw on the run in time. Rittenhouse has had to make a couple of those plays here today, and he makes it look easy. No chance there for Bretza. That'll bring up the catcher, Ben Simmons, 0 for 3. Struck out back of the sixth, back in the third, and then flew out in the first. And a pretty quick inning of work so far here for Seth Mahler. Good pitch there. Off speed, down and inside. 0-2. Good take there by Simmons. That one just missing. That's another good take by Simmons. That one was a little closer. As you can tell, Mahler trying to paint that outside corner maybe. Now the count even, 2-2. Mahler with a fastball to the outside. Count full. And a strikeout to wrap up this inning, making it a 3-up, 3-down inning for the Sylvan Lake Gulls, and they still remain in the lead, up 3-0 with a great pitch there by Mahler, just picking up from what Bryson Leach left off on. games. The last 3 have gone an inning. Parish Community College. Bozier. I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong. And that'll bring up Coleman Perry to lead things off for Sylvan Lake. Looking to add a little insurance here at the bottom of the 8th. Up 3-0. Perry is 0 for 2 on the afternoon. Reached on base to an error. Been a great game so far for both sides, but Sylvan Lake definitely defensively was probably one of their most greatest performances we have seen this season, especially here at home, making some big plays when they needed to. Bat's not as hot as they've been, especially when they heated up against Lethbridge, and that's good credit to, you know, the Brooks Bombers pitching staff and defense themselves. The offense has been enough, though, so far for Sylvan Lake with, like I said, 3 runs scored on 7 hits. Now a full count. So American Fork, Utah kid. Goes to Northwest Nazarene University. And he fights that one off to stay alive. You'll see another pitch. And another great thing about tonight too is how Sylvan Lake is only able to use 2 pitchers throughout the entire game. Get where they needed to. Perry lines this down foul. And at least 2 that I know of. I want to say that maybe Seth Mahler is going to come in for the 9th to close out this ball game, but I could be wrong. And just by the signs of the bullpen right now, it looks like it's pretty chill. It's party hats all around. Yeah, everybody's just hanging out, taking in Sully's birthday. Perry's having a really good at bat here. Snow had to make Cole Patrick, the new pitcher, throw 8 pitches his way. So he's making him work for it. And Perry with a great at bat. Pays off. He'll take a walk down to first after seeing 9 pitches come his way. So great start to this 8th inning for Sylvan Lake. Charlie Collins, that'll bring him up. He had a base hit back in the 4th, got on base in the 5th due to an error, so he's 1 for 2 on the afternoon. Right field already this afternoon. Comes with Matthew McKenzie, who's getting close to pitching, by the way. We will be seeing Matthew McKenzie making his debut this week. He's scheduled to come in on Wednesday to start against Fort McMurray. So very exciting to see him back into this Gulls bullpen and Gulls lineup. And for the most part, you know, Sylvan Lake's got their roster filled and guys that have come in that are here, but there is rumblings, and I'm going to say rumblings, that there could be still a couple to come for Sylvan Lake. That might be foul territory just behind the Bombers bullpen. In fact, it was so close to the pitcher sitting on the bench in the bullpen that one had to end up moving. He kind of scared him a little bit. Wasn't sure if that was going to drop on top of him or not, but it just went over the fence behind him. So an even count to Collins. Perry over at first. That pitch misses outside. Full count. Pitch swung on, popped up. Shallow center field. Is anybody going to get there? No. So a pop-up fly ball that kind of lands, again, right in the middle of the Bermuda Triangle that I like to call it. And nobody could get there. That's a long run for Eric Mora. Too far for Daniel Jenkins and Emerson Fleck. And it lands right dead smack in the middle of all three of them. So they can't come away with that one. So a base hit for Collins. And so that'll bring out John Boy Rittenhouse 0 for 3 on the afternoon. But he did have that hard hit ball yesterday, that solo homer, and this would be a great time to do it with 2 men on. And he squares up to bunt, maybe trying to play a little bit of small ball here. Advance the runners. Sylvan Lake hasn't scored a run since back in the 4th inning. So not a bad idea. Kind of good strategic play there by Sylvan Lake Gulls coaching staff. Trying to make some use of some runners. Rittenhouse holding back right now. Now he squares to bunt, shows bunt, and he watches that go by. Well, as I mentioned, 5 other games going or scheduled to go on around the league today. Of course, the Lethbridge Bulls and Energy City game postponed, but Saskatoon Berries hosted Swift Current earlier on today, and they end up defeating the 57s 9-5. And then Weyburn Beavers host Moose Jaw tonight at 7 o'clock. As the Beavers are 5-6, but they're 19. I was getting them and Medicine Hat mixed up. My apologies. They're minus 19 differential. Medicine Hat Mavericks are a 6-8 ball club, but they have a plus 21 run differential. So that kind of stands out to me when you look at the standings. So Moose Jaw 8-4 on the season. They're second in the East Division, taking on Weyburn, who is third. And then Medicine Hat, like I mentioned, 6-8. They're up 6-3 right now. And this is grounded right to the shortstop. Couture makes the flip to Mora, and the fire over to Nakano for the double play, a big double play that the Bombers needed. Great defense again by Brooks. Turn the double play. 6-4-3 play, and that will bring up Tylen Graves. Coleman Perry over at third, 90 feet away from scoring. And I do apologize. I said Okotoks took the night off or day off today. They actually are in action against Medicine Hat, and Medicine Hat Mavericks are up 6-3 over the Dogs right now. So I just missed that one. So that would be a pretty good upset for Medicine Hat if they can hold on. It's the top of the 7th right now in that game. Graves lifts this into left center field, and it is going to drop in for a base hit, and a run score comes in for an RBI for Tylen Graves. So it's 4-0. Gulls lead it now. As that ball just kind of was hung up in the air, and it dropped shallow left center field. A little bit of a blooper on that one. So that'll bring up Reese Sherman, the catcher. It's 2 for 3 on the afternoon. Struck out his last at bat. Oh, and 1 to Reese Sherman. 2 away. Runner at first. And Sherman lifts this high in the air to right center field. Tracking underneath of it is Fleck. And oh, a little bit of juggle as both fielders come in to each other. A little bit of a miscommunication, but they make the catch nonetheless, but a little bit of an adventurous catch nonetheless as they both kind of run into each other. But a good recovery by Fleck to make the catch nonetheless. And the Bombers now down 4. It's up to them to come back in the top of the 9th. Well, all fate will rest in the hands of Seth Mahler to close out this ball game with a 4-0 lead over the Brooks Bombers as he comes in to get his 3rd inning of work. And he's been pretty solid so far. Couple Ks. And he's had back-to-back 3-up, 3-down innings. Looking for another solid inning of work here as he'll take on Dalen Jeffcoats, who's 1 for 3 on the afternoon. And Jeffcoats swings and misses at that one, 0-1. That's grounded right to Coleman Perry, who fields it himself and will go touch his bag for out number 1. Bring up Asahi Nakano, the first baseman. He's 0 for 3 on the afternoon. Popped up to center field, popped out to the right field, and popped up to second baseman, Maddox Shaver. One thing that we've noticed with, or at least what I've noticed with Seth Mahler is he's, gets up in the count early. Almost first pitch that he throws is a guaranteed strike. And then he gets Nakano to come around on that one, so he's quickly up 0-2. And this is hit on the ground again to Coleman Perry, who this time decides to let his pitcher get in on the action, flipping it over. I'm sure he could have tagged his own base there, but decides to let Mahler get in on the action. A little bit of an exchange on some smiles between those two. Mahler's feeling it, and he's now just 1 out away from saving this game. And that'll bring up Emerson Fleck. Reached on base twice, hit by a pitch and a walk. And then he grounded out to Maddox Shaver back in the 6th inning. And for the first time, that's like the first time I noticed that that was a first pitch ball. But Mahlers finds it back to 1-1. And that one just missing. Good take there by Fleck, who had that adventurous catch to end the 8th inning with the center fielder, Daniel Jenkins, but made a great catch nonetheless. And it just kind of was one of those days for Brooks. It seems like, you know, defensively, things weren't just clicking. It was a little bit of an adventure all around. The infield, the outfield. 3 errors in this game. Wasn't their cleanest ball game, that's for sure, of the week. And that's hit hard right to the Bombers dugout, right off the screen. Now it's a full count. Down to the final strike, final out for the Sylvan Lake Gulls. Seth Mahler looking to close this one out for Sully's birthday. Give him a birthday win on his 6th birthday, and that hits the fists. And we'll go foul.
David Appleby won our 50-50, and he just donated the entire pot back to Casa Mental Health.
Oh, wow. So we just heard that the 50-50 winner today donated all the proceeds money back to Casa Mental Health. Wow, that is incredible. And that pitch comes inside, so it'll be a walk. The first walk that Mahler has given up all game. So that'll bring in a pinch hitter for the Brooks Bombers, and that's Maverick McAllister coming into the game for Derry Star Couture. As the Bombers look to put in a 2-out rally here together. And just like that, first pitch in, first strike. Gulls racking up 9 hits in this ball game. Only giving up 4 to the Bombers. And this ball is hit hard, but it's popped up to the right fielder, and Charlie Collins with the final play of the game for Sully's birthday. The Sylvan Lake Gulls hang on and shut out the Brooks Bombers 4-0 in what was a amazing defensive effort game by the boys in blue. A lot of great plays made in the outfield, a lot of great plays made in the infield. Charlie Collins with a couple grabs today. Of course, some unreal plays by Coleman Perry, the infield turning into double plays. John Boy Rittenhouse. I mean, you just go through this whole lineup, and I feel like everybody contributed in a big, big way to this huge 4-0 win at Gulls Field, and, you know, rightfully so. It's Sully's birthday. You can't lose on Sully's birthday. You got to make the bird happy, and I guarantee you he is happy right now with this 4-0 win over Brooks. Again, not a win that's, you know, a blowout by any means. It was just a comfortable, commanding win by the Sylvan Lake Gulls, getting this job done. You know, the bats came alive when they needed to. Just kind of slowly but surely, a couple runs here, and then a run in the 4th and a run in the 8th, and they just hang on. And they got the pitching done, too. I mean, Bryson Leach only gave up 4 hits, and that was the only hits that were given up all game long, but no runs and 5 strikeouts. And then, of course, you get Seth Mahler come in, and he ends up getting a few strikeouts himself. So it was all in all a good game, and we'll head down to field level with Jared Wallow standing by with our EG Auctions Player of the Game.
Your attention now behind home plate. Here's game day host Jared Waldo.
Thank you very much, Joe. Joining us down here, your EG Auctions Player of the Game this afternoon, starting pitcher number 27, Bryson Leach. Bryson, congrats on the win. Take us through this afternoon's ball game.
Yeah, we dropped the first two, so just looking to even up the series. Gave up a couple bloops, but the defense got me. That's baseball, so just got to be throwing strikes.
Well, don't sell yourself short. 6 strikeouts on the afternoon, but you talked about the defensive play of your team. A lot of great plays and opportunities to catch the ball out there. As a pitcher, when you're seeing your guys behind you doing what they do, how much confidence does that instill in you to just go out there and do what you do?
Yeah, it helps a lot because I know I can throw it over the plate, and if they hit it, still got a shot because I got a good defense behind me.
Well, congrats on the win. Let's do it again on Tuesday.
Thank you.
Your player of the game, Bryson Leach, this afternoon's starting pitcher, 6 strikeouts. Great afternoon of baseball.
Well, like I mentioned, it was kind of one of those afternoons that the Gulls needed, especially for the pitching staff on the mound. I mean, there's been some games where they've just been really hit at hard, and they just couldn't really get any gel, get any momentum with the pitches. But today was a huge confidence booster for that pitching staff, and especially for Bryson Leach. 5 Ks, 6 innings of work. They got a lot of innings out of him. I think he threw over 70 pitches in this game, and then only giving up 4 hits, no runs. And there's a bases loaded situation at one point, but he got that help from the infield too and the outfield, and all in all, just the defense really came together with the Sylvan Lake Gulls as they defeat the Bombers here today 4-0. Now get a day off tomorrow before they get set to welcome the Fort McMurray Giants for a pair, but then they got to get set again for the Brooks Bombers for a pair of games later on in the week. But if they can keep this going for the rest of the week, they'll take it. I mean, a huge home run by the DH hitter and Joey Marino. Great catching in right field there again by Collins, and then strikeouts. And a double play by your first baseman, saving you with a bases loaded situation. Great to talk with Casa Mental Health, and Greg Shannon joining us here in the broadcast booth. What a great guy he is to talk to, and overall it was just a great day to be at the ballpark. For Sully's 6th birthday, he gets a big win, and he's happy with it, with everything happening here at the ballpark. For the whole crew at Green Onion Media, I'm Cale Clark. We'll see you back here at Gulls Field on Tuesday night with another bird's eye view on this one. Gulls win 4-0.